Now, the bonus fifth metric that I want to talk about is let's talk Facebook ads. Today, I want to go through the top metrics that we use at our agency, EZA Media, to help our clients scale their Facebook and Instagram ads profitably. Now, before I jump into metric number one, I first want to define creative strategy. Creative strategy is probably the number one buzzword being used in the D2C space right now. So before we jump in, I just want to simply give you my definition of what creative strategy is so we're all on the same page. Now, the way that I like to define it is actually by breaking the two words apart. So creative being the video or the image that a user sees on the social platform, and strategy simply being the plan of action behind whatever goal we're trying to achieve. And in this case, it's probably going to be purchases. So our definition of creative strategy is the plan of action behind the visual that we are going to create to get someone to purchase. Now, with that out of the way, let's jump into metric number one. Now, the first metric, and probably my personal favorite, is the video hook rate. Video hook rate is also known as the thumbs up ratio or 3-second hold rate. And the reason why the hook rate is so important is because this is what sets the tone for the rest of the ad and is ultimately that very first impression of your brand to a new customer. I like to use the analogy that it's kind of like going up to a girl. That first impression or that first pickup line that you use is going to set the tone of whether or not you get a date, aka get a purchase. So if you have a really good hook rate and you're able to get someone's attention, it makes it a lot easier for you to close the deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over the screen and show you how to set up this metric inside of your Facebook ad account and also give you some examples of some of our best performing hooks. So we're in one of our client accounts here over the last 30 days. And what we're going to do is we're going to click up into the columns tab. We're going to customize columns, and what you'll see is we already have a bunch of custom metrics here, but you can click create custom metric. And what this will do is it will bring up a little window for you to basically create whatever metric that you want to track. So I'm just going to click edit on the video hook rate because this is what it will pull up. You're going to name it video hook or hook rate or whatever you'd like to name it. And you're just going to change this to a percentage. And then you're going to set it to 3-second video plays divided by impressions and go ahead and click save. You're going to click apply. And as you can see, if we scroll all the way to the right, we can now see the hook rate. Now, the hook rate in this account on some ads is actually quite good. For us at the agency, we always try to aim for a 30% plus hook rate. So anything above that is basically above average. Now, the hook rate really depends from niche to niche and, brand to brand. But for us in our creative testing campaign, as you can see over the last 3 days, we launched 2 or 3 different tests for this client. And we have some decent data just to kind of showcase here. So number one, you can see batch 3 had some branded videos with about a 20% hook rate. Batch 2 here had about a 31% hook rate. And as you can see, the difference in the return on ad spend from these 2 ad sets is obviously quite significant. A big indicator for us on this is the fact that more percent of people or a higher percent of people are getting hooked by this ad. In fact, almost 11% more people are stopping to watch the first 3 seconds of this ad. We've noticed a huge trend in ads being a lot more successful the higher the hook rate can be. You also notice if we look at some other complementary metrics such as cost per click and click-through rate, that the overall cost per click is way less because so many more people are actually stopping to watch the ad. Now, in regards to some hooks at our agency that are doing extremely well, I've got 2 examples loaded up here in Foreplay, which is a fantastic tool, highly recommend, could probably make another video on this. But what I want to do is show you this ad, which is hook number 1, that is doing a great job of just calling out the avatar. So as you can see, that hook is very direct. We're saying, are you walking around like this? And showing an image of someone that just has stuff coming all out of their pockets, and then telling the person to continue watching the video. Now, the reason why this hook works so well is because it directly calls out someone and just grabs your attention right away. It says, are you walking around like this? And shows someone with messy pockets. Anyone that has a lot of items in their pockets or experiences that pain point is obviously going to be able to see that right away and continue watching the video. Hook number 2 that I want to show you is just something that we've done and is kind of trending as well to use these TikTok response levels, but something that we've tested for this client over and over to basically show a different look and something that just catches your eye, like what is happening in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and play this hook and then go ahead and explain it after. So as you can see, the hook of this video is this girl laying over using the diffuser on her hair, and it just looks kind of weird, right? Like usually when you see something or someone blow drying their hair, usually they're just standing in front of a mirror. Whereas with this video, as you can see, she's laid over, she's got pink bright hair, and she's using the diffuser to basically, diffuse her hair. But it's in the way that she's doing it that is really drawing attention. And then we mix in the how did you make those curls? And as you can see, we then cut to a slide of her, obviously with her curls and her hair all diffused, looking great. And that is going to grab a lot of attention because we just almost took someone from a before stage to an after stage using our client's product while also showing some kind of social proof and credibility with the TikTok response book. Now we have dozens of other creatives that we generate each and every single month for our clients, but these are two strong performing ads that I felt the need to share that hopefully give you a great idea of how you can improve and track your hook rate. Now metric number 2 that we track at the agency is video hold rate. What the video hold rate is simply the percentage of people that actually watch the rest of your video. Now as we've already been over, the hook rate is super important to get someone's attention, but the hold rate is just as important to get someone to actually continue watching. We've seen certain times where the hook is really great, but the hold is not. So what that tells us is we need to do a way better job of finishing the ad and making it actually engaging for someone to continue through and finish watching. Now, same thing here. I'm going to jump back in the screen and show you some examples of how to set up the hold rate metric and what to look for. So as you can see, we are back inside the ads manager and I have now added the video hold rate. In regards to how to get the video hold rate, what we like to do is basically divide through plays by impressions and use that as a metric for us to track how long people are basically watching the video or what percentage of people are actually watching the video. If you want to see, once again, it is percentage and we call this video hold. Click save, click apply, and now we can start to see the video hold rate for these ads. Now, obviously it's pretty eye-opening to see that the hold rate is a lot less than the actual hook rate. The reason why that is because obviously way less people are going to watch the full thing. Now, the reason why we like the hold rate metric is because what that allows us to do is combine it with the hook rate to measure the percentage of people that are stopping compared to the percentage of people that are actually watching the rest of the video. Now, for us, our goal is always a 5% hold rate, or anything above 3% is pretty good, but we have had videos in the upwards of 10 to 20%, and that's how you know you've got a very entertaining ad. Now, I've got 2 more examples here of some hold rates that you can take inspiration from. What we like to do with our hold rates is typically just show the product in action, talk about the benefits, and then most importantly, end the ad with a CTA. So as you can see, here is a great hook. The perfect humidifier doesn't exist. And then as we get through the actual content, you can see we're talking about how it's easy to clean, how it helps with allergies and sinuses, that it can be sterilized. And again, we're just basically keeping the attention on the product itself and then simply ending it with a CTA. Now that CTA, the whole point of it is to remind the user to actually go and take action on the ad. Now to jump into another example of another ad that has a great hold rate, as you can see, this hook is very obviously eye-grabbing. It shows someone who's using the diaper covers to stop wetting the bed. And then as you can see, we talk about the leak-proof technology. We show people using it and how it works. We basically show that dream outcome of people sleeping comfortably. And then this is another really great thing to do, is to actually show the product on the website itself. So as you can see, our editors did a great job of saying, hey, this company has a money back guarantee, and we're showing the ad and then also showing someone picking it up from their door and then unpackaging it there. So that is 2 more examples of some holds that can work extremely well to maintain that attention and obviously drive people to your store to take action. Now, the third metric that I want to talk about is the conversion rate. Now, obviously being a conversion rate optimization agency, the conversion rate is a huge metric for us. And the reason why it's a huge metric is this just tells us how the ad is actually doing as a whole. We've seen time and time again ads that have great cost per click, but just a dreadful conversion. And that's great and all. And obviously it's awesome to send a bunch of traffic to your store, but if that ad is not sending traffic that is ready to convert, it's actually really not a good ad. And vice versa, we've seen ads that have an extremely expensive cost per click, but the conversion rate on those ads is extremely high, which means every single person that clicks our ad is very likely to purchase. So the goal is to always try to find that middle ground of how to get a cheap cost per click, but also also a high converting click as well. Again, let's jump back on the screen to show you how to set this metric up and show you some examples of some extremely high converting ads. Now again, we're back inside the ad account and it's time to add the conversion metric. So same thing, we're going to go back to customize columns and we are going to select the CPR, which what we do for this is purchases divided by landing page views, but sometimes what people like to do is purchases divided by link clicks. Whatever you prefer, we're going to go ahead and add that to our column. Now, as I mentioned, the conversion rate is extremely important. And something that is interesting here that I mentioned earlier is the fact that sometimes an ad will have an extremely high conversion rate despite it having maybe a lower hook rate or a lower hold rate. So what we'll do in this scenario, as we can see, this ad that is obviously performing better and has, a 4.8x return on ad spend has a 3.95% conversion rate. Whereas if we look at this ad that has a 5.26% conversion rate, but unfortunately a lower return on ad spend, but still solid, what we'll actually do is we'll look at the tendencies or basically how we ended this specific ad and try to combine it with this ad. So that way we can get the hook and the hold rate of this ad, but the conversion rate of this ad. So again, this is why the conversion rate is so important for you to understand what we can do and what is basically weak with the ad that we can improve on. Because again, this is a great ad. It's performing well in cost per click. It's performing well in CTR, add to carts, checkouts, hook rate, hold rate, everything. But as you can see, the conversion rate is still strong, but not as strong as it could be. So this is where, again, as I mentioned, we're going to look at trying to improve the conversion rate from this ad so that we can even continue to get a better return on ad spend. Now, in regards to two examples of some highly converting ads at our agency, I'm actually going to show an image in this first example because this ad is doing extremely well and I would highly recommend that you test these direct comparison ads. So as you can see in this ad, we are comparing our client's cup connector shorts versus other hockey brands. As you can see, we're talking about how it's better, buttery soft, it doesn't shift up, it kills bacteria, and it's made and tested by pros in the NHL. As you can imagine, that is a lot of benefits. So when someone, or if someone is going to click this ad, which they can clearly see is an ad, the conversion rate is going to be extremely high. So this is an example or a great example of an ad that is going to convert extremely well and is definitely a lot more direct response. Now, on the other side of things, this is a completely raw user generated video that actually went viral for us on TikTok and got well over 5 million views. But this is also another extremely high converting ad. So I'm going to go ahead and play this ad and explain why it's converting so well shortly after. So as you can see, the way that this ad is shot is very engaging. It's short, it's to the point, but it's also leveraging the idea that, it's someone communicating to someone else, even though it's the same person. So as you can see at the start, she says, my favorite thing about these earrings when I wear them out in public is this. And so it kind of has you on your seat already because you're like, hold on, you're still trying to figure out is that a heart and a knife on an earring? What is happening? And then she says, here's, my favorite thing when I'm out in public, because obviously, as you can imagine, if you saw someone wearing that in public, you'd be like, what is happening there? What is that? It goes to, her as the other person saying, I really like your earring. And, that's probably a compliment that you would get. And then she says, oh, hey, thanks. How about you watch this? And then that is basically the point. That's there's no way that you can actually do that with the earring. Wow, these earrings are amazing. And as you can see, we do a snap ending where the person who asked is like, what? And as you can imagine, this ad just ending abruptly like that is going to drive a ton of engagement, a ton of comments, get a ton of likes and shares and views, and ultimately is going to send a lot of traffic to the store for someone to go and get this, because again, we're leveraging that feeling of someone who's going to wear jewelry like this is obviously going to want to get some compliments. So this is another example of an ad that is a little bit different, not as direct response, but is converting extremely well because it showcases the product in full use and basically takes advantage of the number one benefit of wearing a product like this, which is getting a ton of compliments. Now, the fourth and final metric that I want to talk about is average order value. Average order value is definitely another one of my favorites to track, as it can be a game changer for your overall return on ad spend and overall profit. The reason why tracking the average order value from each ads is so important is because it lets you know how excited that user is to actually go and shop on your store. Another reason why I love it is because we're actually able to sometimes improve our return on ad spend just by changing where we're sending the traffic. If we send traffic to a product page versus a collection page versus a home page, sometimes that has a huge impact on the overall average order value. For example, someone that goes to the product page might not see some other complementary products if you don't have an optimized cart flow set up. But if we send someone to a collection page, they might see the product that they want, but then also see another that they like, therefore increasing the average order value if they go and buy both of them, of course. But most importantly, the reason why average order value is such a key metric to track is because this sets basically the target for your CPA, also known as your cost per acquisition. So the higher that we can bring the average order value and the lower we can bring our CPA, the better that ad is going to perform. Let's jump in and show you how to set this up as well. Now, as you can see, we're back in another ad account. I've actually changed the ad account here because I think this ad account is going to show a great example of the average order value at different levels inside of the funnel, also the conversion rate and how everything will work together. Now, we're running a lot of statics for this company, so there is not a lot of hook rate or video hold rate action happening, but what there is definitely average order value conversion rate. So let's take a look. Again, we're going to customize columns and we're going to grab average order value, which is simply purchase conversion value divided by purchases. And if you check this out, this is obviously a currency, so we don't want to use the percentage here. We want to use the currency. You'll click save, you'll click apply. And now if we go ahead and we take a look at this average order value breakdown, this is going to, again, give you even more insight than what I already talked about previously. So the first thing that I want to draw attention to is obviously the overall average order value. So if we look at the overall average order value for this account or for these selected ad sets that I have is $82. So as you can see, we've spent about $10,000 on these ad sets, and the CPA for us was about $30. So the average order value was 82, and that gave us about a 2.76x return on ad spend. Now, what's really interesting is if you actually want to dig into the different layers of the funnel. So this is a great example. Top of funnel, which is cold, middle of funnel, which is, engagers, and bottom of funnel, which is people who've been on your store and already know you. You can see the difference in average order value and conversion rate. So if you look, top of funnel, people that know absolutely nothing about us, they're getting about a $68 average order value and a 3.26% conversion rate. Now, as we crawl slowly further into the funnel, as you can see, the average order value is about $80 and about a 4% conversion rate. And then if we jump down to the bottom of funnel, which is people who have seen us a lot, added a cart and all that good stuff, you can see the average order value jumps up a ton, and so does the conversion rate. Now, this is why tracking conversion rate and average order value together along with hold and hook rate is so important, because this can help you set your funnel up in multiple different ways. And again, one of our favorite tests that we like to run is different landing pages. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a separate account now to show you an account that has tested that and give you the data there as well. So here we are inside of this account where you can see we were clearly testing home pages versus collection versus product. And also inside of this, we were testing a few different products as well. But to try to keep this client anonymous, as you can see, the difference in sending to pages is quite drastic. Okay, you can see that, for example, the collection page here had a 1.93% conversion rate and $167.4 average order value, compared to this, which is the same product. Okay, I'll drag this out a little bit further so you can see that it is INT. These are the same products. You'll notice that the product page had a 2.17% conversion rate, but only a $95 average order value. So as you can imagine, by making a simple change from your product page to your collection page can be an additional, $70+ added to your average order value. Pretty powerful stuff. So that is why tracking average order value is so important, because as you can imagine now, in regards to a $50 CPA, if you're getting a $50 CPA on this, campaign or this ad set directly to the product page, you're going to be running at just below a 2x return on ad spend, where on this ad set, sending traffic to the collection page, we're cruising. We're at a 3x plus. So that's why tracking average order value is so important when you're looking to scale your brand. Now, the bonus fifth metric that I want to talk about is profit. As a growth focused agency that helps clients scale month over month profitably, as you can imagine, this is a very important metric to keep an eye on. So what I want to do is show you quickly how to set up your profit inside of Facebook, or a rough profit metric. So that way, you know exactly how much money is going into your account from those ads each and every single month. All right, so as you can see, we're back in the ad account for a final time, and this is my personal favorite metric, profit, where we're going to set this format to currency, and we're going to be able to basically figure out what we like to call your cost of goods landed. So if you want to figure this out, we actually have an awesome calculator over at easymedia.com. If you go to our website, you can find the calculators tab up here, which will take you actually, I believe, to our ROI calculator. So maybe you don't hit that one, but if you go to profit-calculator in the URL, again, easymedia.com/profit-calculator, you'll be able to see that we have a profit calculator on here that we use for our clients to track how much profit we're generating them after our service fee and after any performance fee. But if you scroll down here, you can basically just take the price of your product and shipping. So let's just say it costs you $20 to fulfill a $80 product that you're selling. As you can see, if I actually put this the right way, it's $80 up top, price of the product plus shipping, cost of the product plus shipping. Your margin here is 75%. So what you're going to want to do is go into Facebook and set up your custom profit metric to be purchase conversion value times whatever your metric is. So in this scenario, I've just done 0.65, which would be 65%. So let's just say we bump this up to $30 or $29 or whatever the amount is. We would copy our profit margin and we would paste that in, and then we'll simply subtract the total amount that we've spent on ads. If you are an agency, feel free to add your retainer fee in here as well. We typically do that for clients. And then what you can do is you can click create metric, and obviously make sure that you apply that metric to your account. And then what it will do is it'll actually spit out a profit for you as well at the end of each and every single month. So again, just because we've generated this client over the last 30 days around $77,000 in revenue, or what we call reported revenue, they've actually only took home around $24,000. So don't always get caught up in revenue. Make sure you're keeping an eye on your profit, or at least your rough gross profit, to make sure that you're scaling profitably and you are getting the most out of your Facebook and Instagram ads. If you got value out of this video or would like to see more videos like this, please make sure you click like, you comment down below, and if you are interested, subscribe for more videos like this. So with that said, that's all I have for you today. If you are a Shopify brand looking to scale to multiple 7 or 8 figures, make sure you click a link down below to book a call with our team. That said, thank you for your time, and I'll see you next week.